Imagine you are flying to Dallas for the World Cup. Your plane lands between Dallas and Fort Worth. Your hotel might be downtown. Your match is in Arlington. Your fan festival is at Fair Park. And the broadcast signal that reaches the world is being managed from a convention center in Dallas. That is the strange thing about Dallas. It is not hosting the final. Its stadium is not inside the city of Dallas. And yet Dallas became America's World Cup power city. 9 matches, a semi-final, and the International Broadcast Center. So this is not just a story about a stadium. It is a story about why the World Cup needed the whole North Texas machine. The old way to understand a World Cup city is simple. Find the famous stadium. Find the old football culture. Find the city center. Dallas does not work that way. Dallas is powerful because the event is spread across a region. Airport, stadium, media hub, fan festival, hotels, training sites, and transit agencies. That is the thesis. Dallas did not become a World Cup power city because of one famous soccer tradition. It became powerful because North Texas turned sprawl, aviation, sports business, and media logistics into a tournament operating system. To understand that, start with the most important thing Dallas has, not a stadium, but a map. The 2026 World Cup is not a normal World Cup. It is spread across 16 host cities in Canada, Mexico, and the United States. That creates a basic problem: distance. Teams, fans, broadcasters, and equipment have to move through a tournament larger than many countries. Dallas sits close enough to the middle to work as a hinge between the US coasts, Mexico, Canada, and the American interior. That is where DFW Airport becomes part of the story. In 2024, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport handled more than 87.8 million passengers and ranked 3rd in the world for total passenger traffic. It also offered service to more than 260 destinations, including 73 international ones. For a World Cup, that matters. Because a host city is not just where a match happens. It is where people arrive, transfer, sleep, broadcast, recover, and leave. Dallas was not just a dot on the map. It was a connector between dots. Dallas had hosted the world before. In 1994, when the United States staged the World Cup for the first time, Dallas hosted matches at the Cotton Bowl. That tournament proved something about American soccer. Big venues, big markets, and crowd management could replace old football temples. Dallas fit that model early. But 2026 is different. The old Dallas World Cup was centered on the Cotton Bowl and Fair Park. The new Dallas World Cup is regional. The matches are in Arlington. The broadcast center is in downtown Dallas. The fan festival is at Fair Park. Team base camp activity reaches into the wider North Texas region. And the airport sits between Dallas and Fort Worth like a giant switchboard. This is how Dallas became powerful. It did not concentrate everything in one place. It spread functions across a region, then connected them. That can be messy, but it creates capacity. Media downtown, matches in Arlington, fans at Fair Park, flights at DFW. North Texas behaves less like a classic old city and more like an event network. Then came the stadium. Dallas Stadium, better known outside the tournament as AT&T Stadium, opened in Arlington in 2009. The local host site lists its capacity at 94,000. But the more important fact is not only the seats. It is the type of event the building was designed to handle. This is a stadium built for American spectacle, NFL games, college football, concerts, massive screens, VIP areas, broadcast compounds, security, parking, and national television. For football purists, that can feel artificial. This is not a tight, urban ground woven into a neighborhood. It is a machine for scale. That is the Dallas contradiction. The same qualities that make the region feel sprawling and car-oriented also made it attractive for a mega event. Space became staging capacity. Highways became access routes. Suburban sports districts became crowd management zones. A stadium built for America's biggest sports business became a container for the world's biggest football tournament. But the stadium alone does not explain Dallas. If it did, Dallas would only be a match city. The most revealing Dallas World Cup story is not happening on the pitch. It is happening inside the K. Bailey Hutchison Convention Center. That is where FIFA placed the 2026 International Broadcast Center. This is the hidden city behind the tournament. According to FIFA, the Dallas IBC spans 45,000 square meters, or about 485,000 square feet. It serves as the global broadcast operations center for a tournament across 16 host cities. Around 2,000 broadcast media representatives are expected to work there for up to 7 months. Think about what that means. When a fan watches from Tokyo, Lagos, London, or Buenos Aires, the experience is not created only in the stadium. It passes through a media machine, cameras, commentary, replays, VAR, graphics, and distribution. The World Cup is not just played. It is produced. And Dallas is one of the places where that production becomes global. FIFA said the convention center was selected in part because of Dallas's central location across the three-nation tournament footprint. This is where Dallas stops being just a host city and becomes a control room. There is still a weakness in the Dallas model. The World Cup is a public transit-heavy event. Dallas Stadium is in Arlington, and the region is famous for being built around cars. So North Texas had to create a special event mobility system. The official transportation plan moves ticket holders by rail to Centerport Station, then by charter bus to a bus hub near the stadium. That may not sound glamorous, but it reveals the same pattern again. Dallas is not powerful because every part of the region is naturally perfect. It is powerful because the region can assemble solutions across separate systems: transit agencies, cities, airports, highways, and event organizers. This is also why Dallas's economic scale matters. The Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington metro area had an estimated 8.48 million residents in 2025. In 2023, the metro produced about $744.7 billion in current dollar GDP. Those figures do not prove Dallas is a great football city. They prove something else. The region has the population, airport traffic, hotels, and service economy to absorb a global event. That is a different kind of power. Not romantic power. Operational power. So here is the Dallas formula. Air power. A huge airport makes the region reachable. Stadium power. A massive entertainment venue makes the match schedule possible. Media power. The International Broadcast Center makes Dallas important even when the ball is not in Dallas. Regional power. Separate cities, venues, agencies, and fan zones become one event machine. This is why Dallas is hard to describe as a traditional football city. It is not Barcelona Buenos Aires, or Mexico City. Dallas's World Cup power comes from a different urban logic: airports, highways, stadium districts, logistics, and metropolitan scale. That model has problems. It is spread out. It can be difficult without a car. But for 2026, that regional operation is exactly what made Dallas valuable. So why did Dallas become America's World Cup power city? Because the World Cup is no longer just a tournament of stadiums. It is a tournament of systems. And North Texas had already built one: airport, stadium, broadcast hub, and region. The World Cup did not just come to Dallas. For a few weeks in 2026, the World Cup runs through Dallas.